What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Chat Podcast. This is Sonia Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How was your day?
How was your week?
How was your life?
Going.
Woo! Just helping out.
Every time. Woo! Get the fucking party started.
It's a reminder for you.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me.
Happy times, good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was your nap? You still look like you got sleepy eyes.
Dude, I can never take naps. It's
Dude,
just
we
not
crashed.
something that I can do.
Dude, in what is it, 13 years? We're going on 14 years now?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Married.
Dude, 14 years married is around the corner now.
Right.
Isn't that freaking, like, we were hitting 13. This
Yes.
shit's moving fast. But in the 13, 14 years that we've been married, I can't remember when we've taken a nap like that.
No, I know. That's
Right?
why I'm like, yeah.
So, I mean, we like crashed in the middle of the day or afternoon. It was like
It
2 or
was
3.
so nice. Yes.
But we've always just kind of like you rarely take a nap. And I don't take very many naps either.
No.
Throughout the years, it's just been like you
And
crash
it's
for
a
a little bit.
Saturday. So today's a Saturday. And
Yeah.
so we decided, I don't know who brought it up. Anyways, I think you did. And I'm like, okay.
We were tired from our earlier festivities. But
Right. Miguel be waking me up early.
But yeah, we just like, hey, let's go. So we were both kind of dragging and tired, but
Yeah.
we
I don't
crashed.
think
It was nice.
it was nice.
So we had a day full of baseball, or the last 2 days, Friday and Saturday, full of baseball and softball. Audrey had games, and then she had a party with her softball team yesterday.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So, you know,
so let me ask you. So what, you had this idea of throwing Audrey like a little party for her and her team here at the house. We went and picked up like a little bonfire grate thing so that we can throw some wood in there and we can have a little bonfire with s'mores and stuff. So yeah, what was the idea for Audrey's softball party?
Well, I think I had mentioned it on the previous podcast, but I've been attending her practices. Yeah. And I noticed that there was a division within the team, like little cliques, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, you can see that they had a good team.
Yeah.
But it wasn't showing, right? Like you could tell like they weren't talking to each other. They weren't supportive of each other. When we would play against other teams, they were chanting, they were rooting for each other. Like they had that team
The other
quality
teams did.
of, yes. And
So it's like they were a bunch of individuals on a team.
right. So one of the girls, I went up to the coach and I asked her if I could go talk to the girls. I told her I do some motivational speaking here and there. And, hey, this is what I heard. And she said, you're right. One of the girls brought it to my attention, you know, and she's like, and once she brought the division, you know, to my attention, I started to realize that they weren't really playing as a team. So she's like, I would love to have you. So I showed up, spoke to the girls, you know, and I got a lot of positive feedback from that. And from that point on, they started working at it, you know, like working with each other,
They're
coaching
picking each other up and
like, yeah. The energy too, like, you know, you could see the change in the energy. And, you know, the coach, it was her first year coaching.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I just thought it would be a good idea to get the girls together so that they can get to know each other outside of practice, outside of the games.
Yeah.
And that's why I decided to have a get together. Not only that, but I know that they were not really happy with the coach, but she was a volunteer. Yeah. You know, she played, she never coached.
And if it wasn't for her, they wouldn't even be playing because they didn't have anybody to coach.
Right. And just because you play a sport doesn't mean you're going to be able to train, you know,
and
like
coach, right? Like you got to learn how to
both.
coach.
Yeah. Right. So I wanted to also talk to them about that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we had them here yesterday and it was great. They were laughing. They were playing together. I mean, they were having such a good time. And I wish that I would have thought of this a little earlier
in the season.
because they have one more game and then it's over.
Hopefully
you know?
a couple more, but
But
see.
what was so great too were that the parents were very excited about it as well.
Yeah.
You know, and a few of the parents came over, so we got to chit chat with them and hang out with
that was fun.
them. It was great to see all the girls bonding and having a good time and dancing and singing, you know, and rooting for each other because they were when they weren't competing against each other with the board games. But it was super fun.
Yeah, in the beginning of the season,
it was a great experience.
Yeah, in the beginning of the season, you can see like it was quiet in the dugout. You know, when somebody was batting or like nobody was really saying anything.
Right.
You know, and usually, you know, if you get a strike, it's like, hey, it's okay. You know, whatever. Or if they throw a ball, hey, good eye. You know, keep your eye on the ball, whatever. Like but in the beginning, you wouldn't hear anything.
No.
And then
crickets.
and then like when you went and talked to them, like you said, it started picking up a little bit, and then it seemed like every game it was getting progressively better.
So.
And then yesterday, we went to their game, and I had completely forgot. Or no, they on Thursday we had went to their game, and I had completely forgot that Joey had practice, so I had to leave the game and take Joey to his baseball practice. And then when I get back, you tell me, you're like, oh my God, you would have been so proud. They did so good. And I was like, what the hell?
Oh, it was amazing. And they lost by 2. They won two games. So, they haven't been doing that great. But this time around, they were in it. I mean, they were in it to win it. But they had such great personalities. They were loud. They were chanting. The parents were into it. It was just a perfect game. Audrey, she slid, into home. And it was just so great. The girls did so good. And even though they lost, they felt great because they gave it 100%.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And after the game, I asked them, how do you guys feel?
Yeah.
And what was different? Like
their attitude.
Yes,
their attitude was different.
Yes. And that's what made the difference.
Yeah. That's cool.
But when we got together here at the house, I got a card for the coach, and I had them all write in the card, and the messages were,
Yeah, they were nice.
Yes. And I think the coach needs that. Like, she needs to know that she's appreciated, because I know that it was rough for her as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
But yeah.
But yeah, they did great.
It's a good thing. And I didn't only do that for that. I wanted people to really get to know Audrey too, because Audrey comes off a bit shy, a bit quiet until you get to know her.
Yeah. Yeah, she does.
Yes. And a lot of times, it's like when you work with people that you know them at work.
Yeah.
Right? You know that side of them. But then if you go, hey, have a drink with them after work,
you get to know them.
You start to bond. You get
to
know them on a personal level.
Yeah. And it just brings you, especially when they're on a team, it just brings you closer. When they're playing together against other teams and stuff. Yeah, it brings you together. Yeah.
And most of them plan on playing in 8th grade. So it's like, well, get to know each other, bond. Build the relationship now.
Yeah.
By 8th grade, they're going to support each other, have each other's backs. It's going to be solid.
Yeah, in 8th grade, they're all going to have matching neck tattoos, and it's going to be great.
Shut up.
So we had when they were over here, we had a few activities, and Sonja bought some games, some board games, and some games for the kids. And like I said, they were making s'mores and stuff in the back. And Audrey had where did she get? She got it for Christmas. Like Christmas from our cousin. And she had like this big lot, like of 100 tattoos or something like that. Really nice tattoos. So you guys decided that you guys were gonna make like little sets of tattoos for all the different girls on the team. And I'm out there trying to start a fire, and I walk into the kitchen and I see Sonja at the sink with all these girls, and they're putting on tattoos on their neck. They got teardrops on their eyes. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, you about to send these girls home to their parents with all kinds of tattoos with a sleeve?
We text their parents. They all agreed to them, but what was cool was because you're stupid, because I had them, we went around the table, and asked each and every one of them, I did, why did they choose that tattoo or that design? And they all had like a
reason for their
tattoos.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it was really cute and it was really cool. And some of them were pretty deep, you know, with their,
That's cool.
Yeah. So it wasn't just all neck tattoos.
Yeah, that was fun. That was cool. I'm glad they got it. It was cool. Like every once in a while you just kind of look and they're just a bunch of girls having a good time.
Yes. We had 10?
Something like that. Yeah.
10 show up.
Yep.
So anyways, it's a great idea. Parents, those of you that, your daughters are in a league or, whatever it may be. I mean, we even did it for her personal friends.
Yeah.
Because I want her to find her tribe.
Yeah.
I want her to find her tribe. And I know she's a bit quiet at times. So I figured I'll help.
Yeah. No, that's good.
By being, the fun house.
Yeah. And we've mentioned it. We've mentioned it here on the podcast too. Like that's something that we learned from our old neighbor, Herb. Shout out to Herb.
Yes,
he's awesome. And who we got to see not too long ago, and we're glad he's doing well. But one thing that he told us when he was our neighbor was, he was like fixing up his backyard, and he had young teenagers at the time, and he was like, the way he saw it, like I want to make my house the house where people want to be, So if there's a party, if there's a get together, you want them to be here that way. You can see it's fun. It takes a little work, but you can see what's going on, who the kids are hanging out with, the kind of crowd, and it's good.
And two, here's another tip. If you're thinking of, doing the same, is when the kids come, make sure that they're aware that, their phones are to be put aside, because if not, then you're going to have a bunch of kids over
taking selfies,
just in their phones,
and
you don't get to know each other by being in your phones. And that's why I decided to buy games for them to play, and games where they can, share, who they are.
Yeah. There was one, it was like, this game could get you grounded
for life
or something like, grounded for life. Is that what it is? Yeah. That's a good one.
Yes.
You like that
was, they loved it.
And if you guys would like to pick up Grounded for Life, I'm sure they have it on Amazon, right, babe?
Yes, they do.
You guys can go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. We're doing it early today.
I know.
If you guys go to our website, you guys will see the Support the Show tab. And when you go there, you'll see a link to an Amazon link. And if you click on that, anything that you purchase through that link doesn't cost you anything extra, but it'll help out the show. And when you click on the Support the Show tab, you'll also see a link to Trust Inc. And Trust Inc. is?
We are a nationwide mobile notary and signing agency. So if you are in the process of selling, purchasing, or refinancing your home, you can request Trust Inc. to be your signing agency.
Nice. And you can also find our merch on Amazon. If you search Opposites Attract Podcast, you'll find our t-shirts. We have some pop sockets, and we got to put more stuff on there. We'll probably start putting sweatshirts on there in the summertime when it's not time to be fucking putting sweat. That's how we roll.
Nice.
We're always late to everything. But you guys can find our merch there. And when you're on our website, you guys can also watch the podcast there. You can listen to it there. When you go to the website, the first thing that's going to pop up is our resource list. And if you guys would like to sign up for the resource list, what that is it's a collection of videos, podcasts, books, different things that we've learned throughout the years that have helped us out. That
in
have
our marriage, whether
marriage, parenting,
financing,
just things that have kind of changed the way we saw things, and help move us to a different level. But if you guys would like to check it out, it's free. You guys can go to our website and it'll pop up, and you just enter your information and you can get it there. We're also affiliates with Pinwheel, which is a smartphone for kids. What are you laughing at?
Keep going. Don't mind me.
What the hell?
You're doing a great job.
Which is the best smartphone for kids that's available. I'm sure you guys know of all the trouble that there is with kids and cell phones and social media and all the crap that's on the internet. But if you guys would like a phone that's actually good for kids, that makes them more productive, that keeps them safe while they're on the internet, you can view all the text messages, the call logs. And if you guys would like to give it a shot, you can go to pinwheel.com and use promo code OAP10, OAPTEN, all in caps, and you can get 10% off of a Pinwheel phone. And what, babe?
Just keep going.
And if you guys would like to buy us a coffee, you guys can go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod. And what that is kind of like a virtual coffee. If you guys would like to buy us one, what we've talked about before is if we ran into you guys at a bar or a coffee shop or something, we'd be like, hey, we watched the podcast.
Yes, yes.
You know, we'd love to buy you a drink and get to know you a little bit. And if you guys would like to do that for us, you can do that at buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod.
There you go.
Now what?
Nothing.
What's up, babe?
Can't see, whenever you just smile real big. Just smile real big and walk by people and they'll be like, what's this chick up to? What's this dude up to?
Anyway, yeah. What?
Nothing,
Go for it, babe.
I love you.
Why? Because you don't have to do the ads?
You. Thank God.
Is that what you're laughing at?
No, I think you do, a great job at it. That's
Thanks,
all.
babe.
Yeah. So what's up, yo?
Nice. Anyway, so last week we kind of, I had asked like what happened with, like what kind of business, or Bill, we asked like if anybody had any questions a couple podcasts ago. And then we kind of answered it last week at the last second of the show.
Yes.
We kind of gave somewhat of an answer, but not that great. But we wanted to kind of give you guys an update on some things that are going not so well with our newest business ventures and investments.
This is so good.
Anyway.
Because this is something that I wanted. Okay, keep going. Yep.
So recently, so like you guys know, we're always looking at ways to kind of get
not
ahead,
be broke,
improve. Yeah. I mean, the goal is to do our own thing, work for ourselves, and live that life.
Can you imagine, once we get there, that would be, that's just, and there's people that are doing it.
There's no reason why you can't. There is no rule book. Like I said, this shit's all made up. There's nobody that says that you have to work 9 to 5, 40 hours a week. You got to get benefits. You don't have to do that.
Yes.
There's so many people that are doing it. No, it's not. But there's other ways.
Yes.
And there's more people today than ever doing it different ways.
Right. Man.
So that's what the goal is. I mean, that's why we're doing this here. That's why we have the businesses that we have. Like we're just, trying to figure our way.
Yeah.
So
we decided,
the time is now to jump into
and you know how it's now?
Yeah.
You know how it's now? Because you feel uncomfortable. Like you're sitting where we're sitting where we are. And yes, it is comfortable, right? We're at a good spot right now. But it's like with me, I got a feeling of
it's time to move.
There's something that needs to be done, right? Like you get that.
Once you've been comfortable for a little while, like at least for us,
it's like that God nudge. Like it's time to move. It's time. And that's what I was feeling. Like it's time to move. It's time to do something, whether it's investing, whether it's,
is that Oprah?
The coaching.
Is that Oprah?
No.
Is that what, did you make that up?
I did. Yes. The God
Spanish
nudge.
Oprah. Wink, wink. The God nudge.
Or you feel like you should be doing something
Trademark
and you're not
shit.
Doing anything. Yeah. Right.
No, it's like at least for
scary.
Me, you get comfortable. Like after you've been doing something for a while, It's like, all right, like I've been doing this like this for a while now. Mm-hmm. Like now it's time to do something different, or it's time to take the next step. Right. You know what I mean? So
yes.
That's kind of where we were at.
So we were looking into all kinds of things. We were looking into Turo, which we're still looking into. And that's just, it's those of you that don't know, it's where you purchase a car and you rent it out.
And you can make money doing it.
Right.
So that, and then the other major thing that we were seriously considering was starting to invest in crypto. Mm-hmm. And that's been fun. I mean, for those of you that know the crypto market. So I got in right in December, right before everything fucking tanked. But it's kind of crazy though, because with our mentality and like what we're doing, and like I said, all the different things that we're doing, it's all good, because the thing is that when we got into crypto, it wasn't like a small thing. Like we jumped in.
Right. And when he says we, okay, so I think let's talk about this. So as your wife.
Yeah.
Okay. I've pretty much supported you in your ideas. And you have always supported me
in your ideas.
In my ideas, right? Like Trust Inc. That was my idea. And you're like,
whatever,
let's do it.
Whatever. Like anytime you bring something up or whatever, I'm like, let's figure it out.
So let's step back. So when you decided, hey, let's do this crypto thing. Of course not, baby.
Of course not, baby.
Let's do this crypto thing, okay? Yeah. And we're not talking about like chump change, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's serious stuff.
For us.
And for us. And I'm like, I don't know shit about shit
when it comes to
crypto, right? It's not my thing.
And neither do I.
It's not something I know, but I can't even wrap my brain around it, no matter how much, because I looked up, videos on YouTube and I know people that are doing it, right?
Yeah.
And I can't understand it. Like I don't even want to. And what was so funny is that when I spoke to our friend Bill Soroka, because I gave him, talked to him, and I always run things by him. He's kind of like, a really good friend, but a mentor as well, who's doing things, and we trust him. And so, I start talking to him about it, and he's like, girl, I'm with you. And I felt so good.
Like he doesn't get it either?
I've tried to get it. He's like, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And several other people. It's
not easy.
It's the same thing. Yeah, but you got that brain. Like you just got that type of brain where you can understand some shit.
That'll lead into something else that we're going to talk about.
Like we're different,
Maybe.
And so that's why it's called opposites attract.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that you're good at that I'm not good at, And so me being the wife, like I have 100% trust in you.
Yeah.
So when you decided to jump all in, I'm like, I got you. Like, I trust you. Like, I do. I trust you 100%. And, it's just like, get ready because we're going for a ride. We're going for a ride, but we didn't know what kind of ride. We just knew we were going for a ride because we have another good friend who's in it, who's talking to us about it. And it's like you have to have a certain mentality, personality. You have to have that alligator skin,
some thick skin.
And
because
almost detached from the outcome, right?
Well, right now, what he told us, we're going through a perfect example for why he said what he said. Almost half. Like as soon as we jumped in, within a few weeks, we probably lost almost half the money. And it wasn't a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know what's crazy though? Like I started kind of thinking about it, and there hasn't been, and I don't think there will be, but there hasn't been a moment where I fucking felt sick. Like, oh fuck. Like
right.
Now we're fucked and
right.
we won't be able to do this again.
Right.
That's not my mentality. Like really thinking about it, it's almost we're not millionaires, but it's coming.
Oh yeah.
Because that's the mentality. Like right now, I feel like fucking take it all, take everything.
You don't mean that.
No. Like for real. Like if we lost it all, I'd be like, you know what? It's fucking fine.
Oh, because we will get back to where
like we'll figure our way into something,
right.
And we'll get something done.
Listen, was there? I'm sure there has been, but something major that you can think of right off the top of your head. Something that happened to you in your past where you felt like I fucked up, like man, like I really messed up. Yeah. In your career and what was that?
There's always.
Give me one that right now stands out.
The Air Force always kind of stands out.
And at that point, when you were let go from the Air Force because
when I was kicked out. Yeah.
Because you got a DUI.
Yeah.
Right? And it wasn't even anything big.
No, it wasn't like a bad. It wasn't like a big
pulled
thing.
Over. He was not even driving.
Well, no, it wasn't good. It wasn't. No, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good thing. I deserved to get in trouble.
Okay.
That is. That's the difference, right? Just that little thing right there. That's the difference of why. No matter what happens, we're gonna be fine, because a lot of people take that attitude like, oh, this happened to me. They're the victim from this fucking situation. This happened to me, and then the police did this to me and then they kicked me out.
Right.
It's like, no, I fucking kicked myself out by fucking up the way I did.
Right.
You know, and and I appreciate everything.
But you weren't an alcoholic.
No. I was just young and partying and stupid.
Yeah. And most of us, this could have happened to, you know, we just haven't got caught. A lot of us, we do, you know, even if you drink. Anyway, so in that moment though, when that happened, I'm sure, you know, you had that sense of like, I fucked up. Like this is big. Like it was something big.
Yeah.
And at that point, it did not look like a win.
No.
It looked like it was a loss.
Yeah.
But when you think back to all those times where you had that same feeling, like, damn, I messed up. Like, shit, right? You couldn't see the end result. Hold on. But you couldn't see the end result at that time. But now where you're sitting, when you look back, even when you feel you're losing, you're winning. Because of that situation, right? You got kicked out of the Air Force and, you know, a lot of things happened within that time.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for that,
you know what?
You wouldn't be, you know, your life wouldn't be where it's at today.
Yeah. You know what it feels like to me? It feels like when I've gotten a new job. Because when I've gotten a new job, kind of like when I first became an inspector or when I first got into what I'm doing now or whenever I switched into something new, there's always that, like, you feel like you won because it's like, I'm moving up. I'm going to this new thing. So when you're starting, it's like, fuck yeah, I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. But then when you start, it starts to feel like you're fucking losing because then you're like, holy shit. New.
Yes.
Like I got so much to learn. Like, I don't even know if I'm worthy of this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then over time, you figure it out with experience and all that stuff. But that's kind of how, like, I felt in the beginning, like I was excited to get in, but it just took a drop. But now I know that it's just.
See, but you were still winning. Like you still, but what I was getting to is there's so many people out there, you know, where life happens and you're in a dark place. You're in a bad situation, right? Maybe it's a divorce. Maybe you got a DUI, you know, whatever it may be. You're in this shithole of a spot and you can't see the light. And it's like, boo-hoo, like, you know, like shit kind of, you know, and you don't realize that a lot of times it's a lesson that needs to be learned or corrected. But when I look at things that we've gone through, like challenges and obstacles that we've gone through, it's helped us to become the person that we are today.
Yeah.
And even though shit happened, everything that happened to us happened for a reason. And you may not be able to see the light today. You may not be able to see what's happening to you today is going to benefit you in the future. But a lot of times if you learn from it, hopefully it's not a behavior that's repeated. But when I look back at our lives, I'm like, I'm so grateful for everything that we've gone through.
Yeah.
You know, there were times where you were laid off and we always made something happen.
Yeah.
You know, there's never been a point where we were, you know, evicted or, you know, we lost vehicles.
No matter what happened, we always had a winner's attitude, like a positive. There was never a moment where we thought we're fucked.
Right.
This is the end. Like, there's no way out.
Right.
Like, that was never part of our thought process. It was always like, what now?
Yep.
So what's the next step? How do we get out of this? You know, that was always it. You know what I mean? Like, it might have been, the first thought might have been like, this fucking sucks.
Right.
But then it's like, now what? That's how we've always approached all the situations, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. And when I look at our kids and it's like, how do you, install that?
How do you
Like,
teach that?
how do you teach that? And I think it's just by leading and sharing what has happened to us, things that we've been able to overcome. Because like with Joey today, his game, he did pretty well, in his game. He got
He had a
2
couple
out.
outs.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he didn't feel good about himself because he didn't
bat well.
He didn't bat well. But for him, it's just like he doesn't see the bright side.
Yeah, it's weird. Like he's got some there's something that's really good and then something that we have to work on that's not good. I think the good thing is that he does give, like, he's hard on himself.
Right.
He expects to be good at things.
Right.
Which I think is a good thing.
It is.
To a point. Yeah.
Yeah. But you got to work.
But then
good.
There's this other thing where I don't know where it came from, and there's certain kids, I don't know, and I've seen it before, like teaching jujitsu to kids. Like you'll just get a kid that it's in their vocabulary. It's just can't.
Right.
I can't do that. I can't. And Joey's like it. I don't know where it came from, but he just started saying that.
Yep.
And it's just reminding them of like how they've overcome things before. Like, dude, you learned how to ride a bike. Dude, you used to get your ass kicked all the time. And you've learned. This is no different. It's the same as everything else. And that's something that I wanted to mention. There's something that's recently kind of happened with my work where, and I think you've talked about it and you've noticed it. But man, like on this podcast, if you guys have listened over the last 2 years, I started a new position and it's felt like I've been so out of my element. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. And it was one of those really uncomfortable feelings. Mm-hmm. And recently I had this thing where there was some work from the guy that had the job before me and the guy that had the job before him. Mm-hmm. There was like work that had been piling up that all got transferred to me. And when it got transferred to me, I looked at the amount of work that I had and immediately I'm just like, oh, fuck. Like it's that overwhelming feeling.
Yes. Yes.
It's kind of like when I started a new job or, I'm sure everybody, like we've all had those moments when something is dropped on you and you're like, oh shit.
Right.
And it's like, how am I going to get this done? But then I don't know if it's just starting. It's like looking up the first number, put the first email address in the to box, figure out what the title of that email is going to be, or go to the store and get that tool that you need, or whatever it is. But it's the first step, and then once you start, and then you start the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then before you know it, you're starting to get on a roll. That's and then you're starting to figure out, okay, so if I do a few of these here, then I can start working on these over here. And then you start planning things out on how you can accomplish maybe a little bit more. And before you know it, you're like down the path and now you're starting to see like how you can get these things done. I think the problem is, or at least what I realized this last time, specifically with all the work that got transferred over, but it's kind of like it's all happening at the same time. I've noticed that sometimes I just sit there and fucking look at it. Like I know I have all this work to do and I don't even want to fucking start.
Because you felt overwhelmed.
Yeah, because I'm overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I'll start working on this over here. Mm-hmm. And I leave that alone because it's just too much. And then I start working on this over here. But meantime, the time is passing on this big ass fucking thing of work that I need to do.
Right.
When the best thing that I could have did was like, you know what? Let's just get started. Because the sooner I start, the faster I'll finish it. And the faster I start developing the plan and getting it all knocked out. And I think that's just something I got to keep and that we all got to keep in the front of our head sometimes. It's like when you get that overwhelming feeling, don't fucking sit there and stare at it for too long.
Yeah.
Like
get at it.
Like just get busy. Figure something out.
I had that same conversation with Audrey, like probably on Thursday. Because she was sharing with me that she was feeling stressed out at school because of all the work.
Yeah.
And, I told her, I said, hey, I'm like, do you know how to eat an elephant? She's like,
what the hell?
how would you eat an elephant? I'm like, one bite at a time.
Yeah.
I'm like, focus on one thing, knock it out, then get to the next. But it is hard. It's being mindful because at the time you just feel like your head's going to explode. Like that's how she explained it.
I'm never going to get this done.
Right.
There's no way I'm going to get this done.
Yes. But you just got to start just exactly what you said. Yeah. And I think that's something that, Adriana, you can share with her because you can help her. And I think that's sharing with the kids the stories, like what we've gone through. Like, yeah, I understand how you're feeling.
Because, I felt the same way at work.
Yeah.
Like it's the same situation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because if they learn how to deal with it now, when they become adults, they'll have a pretty good hold on that.
Yeah, because like if she's got a bunch of work from one class, then maybe she might have been doing the same thing. She's like, oh, I got all this work for science, so I'm going to do some of the social studies first because that's not as, and it's like, you might want to jump on the science, like start figuring that out, get on track with that. And then you can come back when you can take a break from this, then you can do other things, but figure out the big thing, like how you're going to get started first. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yes.
But that's something that I just got to continue to, remember when big shit happens, when we have big tasks, kind of, we did the same thing with, it was kind of like the bank too. Because that was a big thing for us. And it was like, you know what? Let's just go. Let's just do it.
That was so annoying.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I felt that way, because we had switched banks and it was a pain in the butt. Like, it just was. And it was overwhelming having to do all that.
But the first step was walking into the bank and getting started,
Yes.
So same thing.
So I was listening to this podcast and they were talking about how us humans make ourselves pay for the same mistake over and over and over again. Or have you, in your previous relationship or even our relationship, was there something that I'm trying to think, the younger me, was there anything that because I can't remember, but I'm sure you will, something that you did, like a mistake that you did that I kept bringing up over and over again, and I still do maybe till this day?
Not that I can think of. I don't.
Okay, what about this? Have you ever made a mistake that you continued to make yourself pay for?
Food. I don't know. Yeah.
But that is something, think about it, that we do. I hear this from other friends that have been in relationships where they cheated on the partner and they're working on the relationship, but it's like it's something that's continued to be brought up over and over again, and it weighs on the relationship.
Yeah.
Or when a kid makes a mistake, think about, when a kid makes a mistake, you have a teenager, they snuck out the window.
Yeah.
And it's something that you continue to make the kid pay for over and over again, and not being able to just let it go.
Yeah.
And how that can weigh on a relationship, whether it's parenting or marriage. It's something that we hold on to. And a lot of times it's hard to forgive yourself.
But like what you're saying though is like, you were just saying kind of like when a parent continues to hold it against the kid.
Yes.
But we, like you were saying, like we do it to ourselves too.
Yes. And that's something that weighs on us. Like we, for some reason, are unable to let that go, and it interferes in our relationship, and it can be mother-daughter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it goes on and on and on until we actually release and let go and forgive.
Yeah.
It's like we pay for the same mistakes over and over again. They were talking about how you can help yourself heal from that, and it starts with forgiving yourself and forgiving the person who actually hurt you, like wholeheartedly forgive, not say I forgive you and then be like, wait a minute, the reason why.
And then you still have feelings against against them or towards that thing or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you don't, I mean, I'm sure there is,
yeah.
but I just thought, I'm like, you know what? That is something that we do very well as humans.
There is something that I remember I remember having this thought specifically. I just don't remember what it was. That it was one of those things that I was just like, you got to fucking let that go. You know what I mean? It was one of those things like that was a long time ago or whatever. Or you know what I mean? Or that's not even you anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that I think I've heard that before too. Like when somebody does something and they keep beating themselves up about it, but when they go back and actually think about it, they're like, that's not even really me anymore. Like that was so long ago, you know?
Yeah.
It's just something that they've identified with for such a long time.
Right.
So the other day we went out to eat and we were sitting by the window in this shop and there was like a family that was asking for money across the way that we could see while we were sitting there, right? And we were just kind of sitting there talking and they were, I don't know, just kind of like looking at them. Like you could tell they weren't Mexican or anything. Like I don't know. But they had a sign that said something about that they were a refugee family or something and they needed some help or whatever. And then we were kind of talking and we were like, well, and I told you that I had heard that there were some refugees from what happened in Afghanistan when we pulled out, that they showed up here. And I have kind of, and it's crazy because I have had that thought recently. Like, I wonder what happened to those people. Maybe it's because I've been watching those YouTube videos with the Arab guys,
Yeah.
which is super cool. You know, watching, it's these videos. I think it's called Tribal. You guys should check it out. It's on YouTube. But it's like these like tribal people from Pakistan, and they're being shown like American videos for the first time. So one of the ones what was the one that I showed you? It was a song, wasn't it?
It was.
Was it a song?
Yes. What was the name of that song?
Sound of Silence by Disturbed.
Yes, yeah.
They listened to Sound of Silence by Disturbed. It was pretty cool. Yeah. And they were like, dude, that Paul Simon, the guy that wrote the song, they're like, he's a genius and this and that. And so yeah, I watched another one about the changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown. Mm-hmm. They reacted to that one. That was pretty cool. So I remembered that they had brought a bunch of refugees from Afghanistan here, and I was like, well, I don't know if maybe they're one of the families or whatever. And then while we're hanging out, like Sonia and I are detectives, like we're trying to figure out, like, I wonder, do you think they're legit? He's like, I don't know where they got the sign from or whatever, but anyway, so this dude walks in. And while we're sitting there waiting for our food and we're kind of like looking out the window, like this dude orders his food and he's just like old dude, did not look happy. And he had like his arms crossed and he's like looking out, just fucking staring. And like for me, automatically, my thought already is I want no part, nothing to do with this guy. Cause I can see what he fucking looks like or some shit. So anyway, so we're sitting there and I don't know if he said something or if he looked at us and mentioned something. I think
he was listening to our conversation. He was eavesdropping. Was he? Yeah.
He
was eavesdropping.
So he's like, oh yeah, I've seen them before over by this other place. Oh, because the guy was playing an electric violin trying to make some money.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And he's like, oh, I've seen them over here at this other place, and they got kicked out because of a noise ordinance or some shit like that or whatever. And Sonia said something, and then he just he was like, hey, it's a fucking scam and this and that. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, why would you even talk to that guy? Like, I don't want him fucking directing his attention this way. Fucking crusty ass angry mother, you know? I'm like, get the hell out of here. So, and then also in that moment, there's this Bill Burr bit from, if you guys know the comedian Bill Burr, where he talks about like Terrell Owens and this dude being racist and how it makes him happy knowing that this racist dude gets pissed off every time he thinks about Terrell Owens. And when he walked out, like I was almost smiling because I knew that dude was probably going to see those people again. And wherever the fuck he runs into him, that dude's going to be fucking pissed. So I just started laughing. But I'm like, dude, why do you give a shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just crazy. Some old crusty angry dude.
You're judgy. No.
Whatever. What? No, he's judgy. Like, who gives a fuck?
It's just people. You know, people are different.
What?
He may think we're crazy. You know,
it's like, dude, live your life. Like, what do you give a shit what they're doing?
Mind your business.
That's what I'm saying.
Mind your business.
So anyway, but I have been thinking about, like, I would like to do something or help, you know, just because I like just thinking about it. Like, I can't imagine living through stuff like that and having to evacuate and leave your country. And it's just it's hard to even process, you know? And for
what
people,
what happened to all of that? Like, all of a sudden,
the vaccine mandate came out. That's what happened. That's how dude, like a week after we pulled out. I mean, you can call it a conspiracy theory if you want. I mean, one of my best friends, Stevens, shout out to Stevens. I mean, he fucking told me straight up, like, what a coincidence. And I was like, dude, it does make a lot of sense. Like, we pull out, and then immediately after, the vaccine mandates come out, and then everybody lost their mind about that shit. You know, because when we pulled out, people were pissed. They were really pissed about us leaving people behind, leaving our allies behind, and then bam, everybody's got to get a shot by this day. Everybody shifted their focus onto that and forgot all about this.
So true.
And that's what we do all the time in this country. Like, it's just the next thing that happens is what catches our attention, and everybody forgets about all the last shit. You know?
Yep.
So there was something kind of crazy that I was listening to on, I think it was on the Joe Rogan podcast, but they were talking about this thing on the internet. Have you ever had, like, when you're buying something or logging in where it has you solve like a CAPTCHA thing or whatever? Like, it's like, click all the palm trees or whatever.
Yes.
Or click all the pictures that you see bicycles. One thing that I've never thought about, but when you're solving those things, like, what are you on when you're doing that?
What do you mean, what are you on?
You're probably on the internet, right? Like, on what app?
Oh, I have no idea.
You're probably on Google Chrome, or you're on some kind of internet app. And they track everything. I mean, that's not a secret, right? They track everything. Like, they can see everything that you're doing, right? And when you're solving these things, they're trying to create AI, right? Artificial intelligence. When you're solving this stuff, it's almost like you're solving it for them. Like, you're teaching the computer how to solve a human puzzle. Like, you're teaching it how to be a human. You making shit up right now? You're teaching the computer how to be a human when you're solving it, because you're solving it on the computer, and they're like, oh, that's a palm tree. Right. That's a palm tree. That's a palm tree. I couldn't see it before, but I see it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's freaking kind of crazy.
Why are you scaring people?
Get ready. The robots are coming. That shit ain't no joke.
Oh, well, I mean, even when you just search, you know, you can...
I showed you the other day too, right? I don't know what I was searching, but 0 search results. Nothing. And I was like, how? How could this be? Like, you got search results for all kinds of other shit, but when I try to search this, I don't get anything.
Right.
How weird.
So I had an experience today with TikTok. So we just started messing with TikTok, right? We have, our podcast. We have little clips here and there.
Yeah.
But I never get on it. And
at Opposite Pod on TikTok.
Yes. I never get on it. And today something popped up saying your, friend so-and-so joined TikTok. And I'm like, oh, cool. And then I got one from Daniel as well, saying that he just added a new video. So I decided to check out the video.
Daniel Fong, Chopsticks Connection.
Yes.
Check him out on TikTok. He's got some awesome videos. And check out the podcast we did with him.
And I go in and I watch his video and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I'm trying to get out and I hit the back button and then another video pops up and I actually stay on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've just never.
Oh, it hasn't happened to you.
No, it has not. So I'm watching this video and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Time to click out.
It's not cool.
Time to click out, right? Back button. Another video. And I'm like,
that was a cool video
that's
too,
funny
right?
as shit. Yeah. And I sent you a couple.
Yeah.
And then I do it again. And I'm like, oh. And dude, I caught myself. Like, I caught myself.
Got your ass. They got your ass.
I caught myself. And I'm like, this is how they do it. That's exactly how they get our kids to waste an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours.
The thing, I don't know if people, there's something that we need to think about more often. And that's that if you're doing that, and there's nothing like, I guess that you can do that and it's not bad, but you should be aware of what's happening. You know what I mean? Like if
within, you're talking about within.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like if I'm on TikTok,
yes.
I want to be on TikTok and be aware of what's happening. Like I know I'm on TikTok and I know I'm watching these videos because I want to watch these videos right now. Not because TikTok fucking tricked me into watching these videos for another 20 minutes.
Right.
The thing is, we are consumers. Straight up. This shit's a business. Mm-hmm. And they are taking advantage of us. Like they're making money. That's what's happening. Like they're making money and you're not. And the more time you spend on that stuff, the more you allow them to hook you, the more money that's what it's all about, is money.
Right. Yeah.
And we got to figure out a way to stop being consumers and bring things to the marketplace. Figure out ways that we can make money, not just consume everything and make everybody else rich.
Right. And to it all, what I felt good about was that a lot of the TikTok that were popping up for me,
they were positive.
Were all,
it was like kittens positive. And shit.
Yeah. No, she sends me, like
wasn't a dog video.
Was that oh, wait,
cute? No, there was a dog one I got to send you.
Yeah.
When I got hooked.
There's a dog one I sent you. Yeah, with big eyes and
yeah.
Was that the same one you saw?
It was one of those dogs that's so ugly it's kind of cute.
Cute, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But mine were, just motivational just clips here and there. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. But they know how to get you. I'm hardly ever on TikTok.
Damn.
But they knew exactly how to get me.
Right.
The things that would catch my attention.
Yep.
But the thing of it is that too, like we also are wanting to increase our following on TikTok as well. So it's just you got to limit. Yes, you got to limit your time and when you're on, you need to be mindful. You need to know the time that you're getting on, and if you had 10 minutes to spare, put an alarm on or just know.
And that's a perfect example because shit, like you're a fucking adult. And there's kids on this thing. There's kids on there that they're not as mindful as you are.
Right.
And they get hooked. Yeah. And they have no idea. They have no idea that it's being done to them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yes. And so, and a lot of times, us parents, we're busy, right? We're busy. We're doing things. And it's so easy just to allow your kid to be on social media because that's what keeps them busy.
There was something that I listened to. I don't know if it was in a book or what, but it was something that came up recently. But it was one of those things that, like back in the day, when kids would be bored, like that was their time to process.
Yes.
To process and reflect on things, on why Johnny's such an asshole, or what happened at school today.
Yep.
Why did he push me, or why did they say that, or how could I have done that different? But now when you have a cell phone, it's like any moment that you feel bored, it's like, what's happening on Snapchat?
Right.
What's happening on TikTok?
Right.
What's happening on YouTube? And you don't have to process anything. You don't have to think about anything. It's just you let your mind just get taken away. And that's one of the biggest differences that they were talking about between back in the day and today.
I have, a really good friend, and we were just chit-chatting about the kids. And I had shared with her that, our kids don't have social media. Yeah. And I laughed. I was laughing, and I'm like, heck, we only have one TV in our house. And she looked at me like, what? Yeah. She's like, I wish. She's like, that's something that I regret. But they have 8 kids. But she's like, that's something that I regret. She's like, I wish that I would have held off on giving them access to technology. She said, because right now, a few of them are teenagers. She says, and it's very hard to go back. Yes. But it's like, being the parent, you can, and there's a way to go about doing it.
Yeah.
To take control of your home.
And honestly, that's why we promote Pinwheel. It's not like, we hopefully make some money doing it. But we do believe in what they're doing.
Yes.
You know, because it's important.
Yes. And that's the thing too. Like if we have, sponsors, certain sponsors, we're not just going to get sponsors because they're
wanting
make money
to and they want to pay us.
No, it's going to be because we believe in the product. Yeah. Or the service, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I think that there in itself is when I listen to other podcasts and I, like Super Soul Conversation, Oprah. I love, love, love that podcast. And I feel like I know her. I feel like I know her.
That's how podcasts are.
I'm like, I know her and I trust her. So if she is talking about something, a service or whatever it may be on her podcast, I know it's because she believes in that product or in that book. Because what? I do.
Wasn't she pushing McDonald's the other day?
Dude, that's just one of her huge sponsors. But outside of that, like if she pushes if there's a book, an author on there, I know it's because she read the book and she believes 100% in that book. And so, hey, if that's something that I'm working on, my spirituality, whatever it may be.
If McDonald's wants to sponsor us, hit us up. No, I'm just kidding.
But anyways, listeners, the whole point of that was know that if we are advertising for someone or whatever, it's because we believe in it.
Yeah. Yep.
Talking shit. But don't tell me if McDonald's comes to us, you'd be like, no.
Nah, I wouldn't. Fuck that.
No, I don't like.
I mean,
I like their fries and their cones, but that's about it. Everything has a price. See, no.
Hey, we'll be like, hey, we support McDonald's if you go get an ice cream like once a month and a small fry or something. Right?
Hey, we went to we tried this new sub place around the corner. We've
where the
lived
angry guy is
in this house
where the angry guy
for
was.
4 years and never, tried this. What is it? Crazy Subs, right?
Yeah,
and they had this cone which was great. It was like a root beer vanilla cone swirl.
Yeah, that was good.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah. Crazy Sub, if you guys live out here, check it out. I guess we're doing plugs for them now.
I just thought of that cone. I'm like, ooh, that cone was so good.
We gotta go get another one.
Dude, babe, we gotta take control.
I know.
Of what we put in our mouth.
I know. You do. Anyway.
What? But I did. What do you mean? Talking crap. So I was.
It's been a while.
What's been a while?
Since I played that drop.
Oh, right? Yeah, because you're always so late.
I know.
There
was so we were talking about the businesses at first, and we kind of talked about Turo a little bit.
Yes.
But we didn't really kind of explain what we're trying to do. And I kind of want to get into it, just kind of like the thought process, because we've talked a lot of shit about debt on this podcast.
Yeah.
A lot. And we're always talking to people telling them like, hey, you need to get out of debt.
Right.
Which we do believe. That is your first step.
Yes.
If you're not there yet.
Yes.
But kind of like what we were talking about before, as you start growing, you start to see things differently. Things that you didn't realize before. Like when we were on the path to get out of debt, it was always debt is bad. Debt is bad. And if you would have asked us then, like, hey, you're going to buy this to do something else. It's like, well, whatever we buy, we got to buy that cash. So let's start stacking so we can buy that.
Mm-hmm.
And then little by little, you start you start meeting people. You start talking to different people.
You're listening to podcasts. You're, listening to financial gurus who've done it and who are teaching others to do the same. And they're mentioning using other people's money. And I'm like, what? That don't feel good. Even saying that, because I'm so trained on it, it doesn't feel good.
And this is the consumer, just like what I was talking about, the consumer versus the investor or the business mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you want a new car, you want a new truck, you want a new whatever, well, you go to the dealership or you go wherever and you sign on that line and now you have a new truck. But you also have payments for the next 72 months or whatever the hell your contract is for. You just lost $50,000, or actually not even $50,000, because by the time your 72 months is up, you've paid I don't know how much more. The difference is what we're planning on doing is taking out a loan, buying a car, and then renting that car out. And then whenever the car is not rented, we have another car that we can use.
Right.
But when that car is rented, it's going to pay for itself.
Plus some.
Plus make us more money.
Right.
And then we started finding out about other things like the cash out loan. So what we can do, because this just so that you guys get an idea. Like we can buy a car private party, but when you have cash, you can get a better deal. This is just if you guys need to buy a car. Don't take out a loan, stack some money, and have cash in your hand. It's so much easier to negotiate with people with cash in your hand because it's hard to turn down stacks of $100 bills. Mm-hmm. And you can talk people down. And it also, it helps you understand the value of what you're buying. Because when you're buying a $50,000 truck, it's easy to just sign your name on a piece of paper. That's not 50 grand.
Right.
But if you had to fucking hand over a stack of 50 grand in $100 bills, I can guarantee you that's way harder.
Right.
That's way harder than just signing your name.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dave Ramsey. It's like pay with cash.
You know? So we have some cash. So the plan is that we're going to find a car. Mm-hmm. We'll negotiate, and then we'll pay the car cash. Then what we'll do is go back to the bank and take out a loan for the car so that we can get our cash back. But when we take the loan out, because we have good credit and we've, kept up on our stuff, we'll get a low interest rate. And then the first 3 months, you have no payment. And because this is an investment, we're not planning on keeping the car for very long. So we'll use it to rent it, make some money, have a cool car for a few months, and then we'll sell it. Hopefully at a profit, because hopefully we got a good deal on it, which is what we're planning on doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's where you're taking a loan, which is debt, which doesn't sound good to us, or it didn't sound good.
Right.
But it's just completely like I'm cool with that kind of debt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't have bad feelings towards that debt now.
Right. But it took us.
It took years. It took years.
Yes.
Because we even still, like we had been out of debt for years before our mindset changed.
2013. Yes.
You know? Yes. Which is pretty cool. Yep. You know, because that's the growth and.
Yep. Yeah. And of course, there's always, with us, anything new is scary, right? Any change is scary.
Yeah.
But it's like we can stay where we are, or we can continue to learn and continue to grow.
And continue to improve.
Yes.
Like that video that we were watching earlier. That's something that improvement, you have to seek it out, figure out where, like something that's going to improve your life, improve your family, improve the people around you, and just get busy, like work on it.
That clip that you were showing me, and he was talking about pick 4 topics that you want to get really good at, or something that you want to learn.
Yeah.
And read, what did he say, 200 books?
No, he said to read 25 books, anything over 4 stars on Amazon, 25 books on like business.
Oh, for each topic.
Yeah, for each topic, anything above 4 stars. And he recommended a few books, but the topics were like business, like human nature, negotiation, money.
But it all depends on you. Like, you and I have been focusing on parenting, and we've been reading or listening to audiobooks. Like our focus has been there. Our focus has been marriage. And now, we're getting financing.
Into a couple other things.
Now we have to, so it's like, if you don't know where to start, pick your 4 topics. Pick the things that you want to get better at, and consume yourself with the knowledge and education, whether it's YouTube, because YouTube has so much.
Yeah.
If you want to learn anything, just go to YouTube.
I've learned how to set up this whole podcast. I learned all of it primarily on YouTube. Editing for this podcast, almost all of it on YouTube. The audio, the video, all the equipment that we bought, I researched most of it on YouTube, like watching review. I mean, so it doesn't have to be a place where you're just consumed and you are the consumer. You don't have to only be the consumer. Use it for research.
Yeah.
Use it for things that benefit you.
Yep. Learn something new and teach others.
And just kind of before we get out of here, we can kind of go back to that video that I showed you before. And I was mentioning it to you earlier, that just as an example, just remembering like like these overwhelming things and that constant improvement, like that guy was talking about in that video, that's something that what he was explaining when he was talking about, I was like, holy shit, like that's what I've done. And I've moved to different positions in my career, even though maybe my focus is kind of shifting towards like us doing something for ourselves. But I've had that success. Like that's happened for me, where you start from an entry position in a company, or maybe you have a little bit of skills and you kind of work your way in. You figure, look, it doesn't matter what it is. Like I felt when I worked at AutoZone for that 1 week, I had the thought, like, what if I start getting on a roll here and I start making some money? Look, I'm going to fucking work my way up to regional director of fucking of AutoZone. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to figure my way out.
Yeah.
I'm not staying here. Like you can make me a assistant manager or whatever, but my mind's already somewhere else.
Right.
And I think that's the mindset that you have to have. Like, how can I get better? What can I do to improve? All these things that are in this country, like we were talking about, the 9 to 5, the benefits, the 401k and all that shit. That's all shit that people made up. The government, that's all shit that people made up. Your pension, what is it that Social Security, Medicare, all that crap. Nobody owes you shit.
Yeah.
Like this is your life. There was no contract when you came out. This is all things that people made up. So you have to take care of yourself. The bottom line, when it comes down to it, nobody's going to save your ass. You have to save yourself. And the only way that you can do that is by constantly looking for ways to get better, ways to improve. How am I going to get to the next thing? And by doing that over time, like just looking for networking events at my job, looking for extra assignments that I can do, something that people aren't volunteering for, I volunteer for it. Taking classes, people aren't taking classes. They're going out partying. They want to go bowling and go to the bar and get fucked up. And I'm taking classes.
Yeah.
But guess what? What's also happening? I'm also, when a job comes up, hey, I think I know somebody for that. There's this guy that I met and they give my name. And then I interview for it and I move into something else. Having a good attitude. Having a good attitude when you're around people. When somebody would ask me something, even this, like the overwhelming shit, my attitude inside might be like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm shitting my pants. Yes. But on the outside, it's like, yep, I'll figure it out. I'll get it done. If I have questions, I'll call you.
I'm telling.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'll probably will be calling you. I'll let you know straight up. But I'll figure it out. But on the inside, I'm like, oh shit, here we go again.
Right.
But that's what you got to do.
It's getting used to being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and when you start at that position, I felt your stress.
That was probably the most stress.
Ugh.
Because
you were working from home and you were so unhappy. Like
no. It wasn't just that, but everything that I had done in my career was all related in a way. I went from working on this to working on something else where, it was different, but I was still working on something like It was related. Then I went to inspection, which was related. When I went to this other position, now it's meetings and spreadsheets and conference calls. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Right. But dude, I'm serious. Like, because I witnessed you from, starting brand new, not knowing what the hell. I mean, you get into this position and it's great. You're making more money. Everything's good. You went from being, just employee, like you said, working your way up, and now you're working with the big dogs. And I see you and I'm like, holy shit. Like I can't help but feel so proud of you.
Thanks, babe.
But at the same time too, feeling your stress and, just the change and you feeling overwhelmed and I would feel that. And that for a moment, like I'm thinking to myself, man, what did he get himself into? Because you were not really, I didn't feel that you were happy in that position, but it's only because it was so challenging. It was something, you got put into this position and there was no training involved. It's like you trained yourself.
I got some help, but it wasn't set up the best way. Yeah.
Right. But you kept going and you kept going. And I noticed that you were becoming more lighter, I guess. Like the stress.
You see,
it was you learning the shit and you getting.
That's just a perspective just right there. When you were saying that I didn't get the training, right? That I didn't get the training that I was supposed to get or whatever.
Well, no, because COVID happened and you were working at home on your own trying to figure stuff out.
All I want to say is the mentality. Because you said that, and you could see that as true. My mentality was like, I appreciate the help that I got. And I was going to figure it out.
Yeah.
But there is the, like, some people could take it as they didn't give me what they
gotcha.
didn't,
yes.
and they should have.
Yes.
And that's already a bad attitude.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But you never gave up and you kept pushing through it.
Yeah.
And now you can see the light.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
because
but no matter what,
in there.
You got to figure out ways to improve, and it doesn't matter what it is. It's everything. That's the way we get better. Nobody owes you shit. You got to go out and get it. And whatever happens in life, it's nobody else's fault but your own. You got to rely on yourself in this thing. And you got to have a strong community around you.
Yeah.
Got
to find your tribe.
And together
we will succeed.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you guys for being with us. Thank you for listening to the show. Make sure you guys go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. Like I said, you guys can watch it there. You can follow all of our social media there. If you guys want to buy us a coffee, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod. If you guys would like to send us a message or send us a question and you guys want to hear it on the show, we'll play it on the show for you. You guys can call us at 480-912-5128. You got anything before we go?
No, that's it. Thank you guys for your love. Thank you for your support. And thank you for watching Opposites Attract podcast.
Where we get better
together.
Bye.
Bye.